What? Wow. I mean, wow. I mean, does she have a kit? I don't care. Does she need a kit? No. She doesn't even need a kit. I'm pulling. She's going to be mine. So these animations were just sent to me a little bit ago, and I wanted to share it with you guys. And yes, a kit has been leaked as well, but with all leaks, we don't know if it's real or not. Smilegate can make changes to this. It could also be completely made up. I think we all remember the Hwayoung kit leaks, how true those turned out to be, so take it with a grain of salt. This may be real, this may be not real. We're going to discuss it as if it is and what we think. Now, she's a Dark Warrior Scorpio. Dark Warrior Scorpios have the same stat line as Arunca, Lone Crescent Bellona, Rem, and the Immortal Wukong. So if you're trying to get a rough feel of how she's going to be put together, what her build's going to look like, you can use those units as examples, assuming that this kit is real. Let's talk about her skills. So her S1 skill, Infernal Strike. Infernal Strike attacks the enemies with kicks, increasing the combat readiness of the caster by 15 up to 20% with Molagora. So a damage skill with 20% CR push in it makes me immediately think counter set might be a thing on her, but also that she's not going to need a tremendous amount of speed because her skills are going to help cycle her. But yeah, this is one of the first S1 skills I've seen that's not an entire novel. It's just one nice clean sentence. Skill number 2, her passive skill, is called Divine Vessel. We had to translate this one with Deep L, and the translation reads, immune to buffs and debuffs. So that's an interesting double-edged sword. She's completely immune to debuffs, which feels amazing, but she's also immune to buffs. That means all buffs. That means the gold invincibility shields. That means immortality. That means no immunity set on her. Not that she needed it anyway. I guess she's immune to buffs. Sure. But immune to buffs means no rage, no vigor, no attack buff, no destruction buff, no defense buff, no barriers. She's immune to all buffs, and that is a huge, huge negative, because remember, immune to buffs means no immunity, and immune to debuffs doesn't mean immune to skill cooldown, turn reduction. So she can still have her skills reset and reduced, and there's no way to stop that without immunity other than stacking ER and hoping it's not an ignore ER skill. So I am back and forth on this. Is immune to debuffs really worth being immune to buffs? I think buffs can potentially be more valuable than debuffs, but let's read on. At the start of the battle, your defense increases proportional to your attack power. So this is a mechanic we saw with Ravi. So the defense bonus does not change after it's triggered. I'm not entirely sure how it could be changed. You can't attack buff her, you can't attack break her. There's no skills that just start to reduce attack like injury, so that's a little bit of an unusual sentence to have in there, but maybe it's implying other mechanics down the road. But much like Ravi, her attack is going to be reflected in her defense proportionally, so that's just free stats for her defense. If an ally, excluding herself, takes 40% or more max health as damage, after being hit, use Sura. Reaves the sky on a random enemy, and it can only occur once every 4 turns. So let's check out what this skill is. So this is her S3 skill that will proc automatically if a ally takes more than 40% of their health as damage. Sura, Reave the Skies, attacks the enemy with Rage-Filled Strike. When the enemy is defeated, inflicts extinction. When the target is a hero, ignores damage reduction and damage sharing effects. No Aureus, no Adamant. When the target is light element, increases the damage dealt. We have our first light elemental killer, right? Kind of like LQC, kind of like Savior Auden, except instead of destroying dark units, she's going to destroy light units, and she's going to do it with extinction, and she's going to do it ignoring mitigation, like all forms of mitigation. That's pretty insane. But here's the thing. It's only going to be usable by her manually on her S3. The S2 passive proccing it when enemies take 40%, or when allies take 40% of their health as damage, that won't proc on herself. And being a dark unit, light units are going to target her pretty heavily. So she doesn't get the advantage of her passive applied to herself. You can't protect her with buffs. She's immune to debuffs, sure, but you can't protect her with buffs. I don't know. Let's read on. There's the awakening for Sura. It looks like it just adds extinction once you awaken it. She's a crit chance self-imprint, so whale unit, have your spare Hwayoungs ready, because you're going to want to build her with crit. And the base Scorpio stat line. Decent attack, pretty good health, really good health, decent defense, which is important. You're going to have to build her tanky. She looks like a DPS bruiser unit. Really, really slow base speed, which is probably why she has the CR push in her S1. No real boosts into crit chance, crit damage, effectiveness, or ER. What do you guys think? If this kid is real, I am not sure. The one thing we're missing, right? She is obviously here to nuke light units. She is a light unit nuker, and we don't really have one of those yet. She nukes the light units, and she drops extinction. Looks like a way to help deal with Ruel, right? Because if you extinct Ruel, she's not self-raising and doing all of her skills. But you're going to have to thread the needle to get her through the gauntlet to be able to drop her S3. You're going to have to make sure she doesn't die, and that might be tough since you can't protect her with buffs. You can't give her skill null. You can't give her immortality. You can't give her defense or buffs. You can't even give her barriers. And she can have her skills reset, because although she can't be debuffed, she can be reset. Her mods are going to have to be really, really, really high. I mean, really high, because the light units we're hitting, think about how some of these Ruels are built. Think about how some of these Dragonbright Senyas are built. Think about the HP of some of these Last Rider Crows that you fought. Nuking light units is going to require some insane mods. And I mean, like, higher than I think I've ever seen mods in this game before, because she's going to have to do it without an attack buff. She's going to have to do it without a crit damage buff. That's a lot to ask for. So what do you guys think? Where are you going to use this unit if this is real? And remember, this could be completely made up like Hwayoung. It could be completely rough draft, and that she's going to undergo major changes before she comes out. We don't know. These are not guaranteed to be in the game, and leaks should always be taken with a grain of salt, but it's good for discussion. What do you guys think? Is this a skip, or is this a must pull? Let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you guys have a great rest of your day.